Hi, Oron Mendel here, originally from Montreal, a city where you can walk or bicycle anywhere in 20 minutes or less. Now, I had one job where I was able to actually in winter cross-country ski, and it was a really idyllic way of living. Now, I have tried downhill skiing just one time in my life when I was 9 years old. We spent the morning being trained on the bunny slope, and then after a light lunch we decided to try the intermediate slope for the afternoon. And I got on the T-bar to lift up to the mountain's top, and we'd been instructed that at the top of the hill there's a mound of snow that you get off on the other side and you go around and you ski downward. And I see the mound and I get off just a second too soon. And I can't make it over the hump of this mound, and I wind up slowly going backwards down the mound and onto the hill and down backwards, picking up speed as I'm starting to panic, trying to flail in the air, grabbing at the mound as it's disappearing in front of me. And then I'm picking up speed more and more, and I'm wondering to myself, am I going to die here? Am I going to break my neck? And then I start to ask myself, okay, what would Jerry Lewis do as he's doing, Wah! And I decide the only way to stop is forward onto my nose, and down I go, and I managed to save myself that way. But that was the only time I've ever been downhill skiing. When I was a child, about 5, 6 years old, my grandmother exposed me to the movies of Laurel and Hardy and Charlie Chaplin, and I remember one occasion we went to the local cinema, which was having a revival of The Great Dictator by Chaplin. And there's one scene where the stormtroopers want to enter the courtyard where Charlie, as the little barber, shares his living and business quarters with his other Jewish neighbors. And he bravely wants to put his hand against the gate wall to prevent the stormtroopers from coming in. And he misses, and down he goes. And I laughed so hard that I had to stand up for air. And what I didn't know was that my seat bottom had flipped up in the meantime. And so when I wanted to sit back down I went. And from the floor, I'm laughing at myself and laughing at Charlie. And my poor grandmother doesn't know what's funny or what's on the screen or what's happening on the ground with her little grandson. I did a lot of theater in Montreal, in Ottawa, a few plays in Miami. And it was always in English. So I left French Canada to come to LA, and ironically, what do? I join a French theater troupe. And one of the plays that we did together was a Molière comedy from almost 400 years ago. And it was one of the thrills of my life to go up to Western costume and try on these bits and pieces of clothing that had been manufactured for the movies in the 1930s and 40s. And I noticed labels on the inside of each piece of clothing that I was trying, and names like Alan Hale Sr. and Nigel Bruce, classic actors whose movies I've loved since I was very, very young. And it was just a thrill to be actually wearing, for the duration of the play, pieces of clothing that had been made for these character actors. And it was just something that I realized, that's something you don't get in Canada as an actor, but it was a thrill for me here in LA to do that. Sometimes I'd look in the mirror in the morning and I'd get this weird feeling like what I was looking at wasn't what I really was looking at. And then one day I was walking past this office supply shop, and I turn and I look and I see an Olivetti Model 250 portable electric typewriter. Are you familiar with that model? Well, let me tell you, it is sublime. The lines, the shape, the slant of the keyboard, it's all there. It's a thing of beauty. Well, anyway, I'm standing there looking at this thing, and it's like I recognize it from someplace, like I'm seeing family somehow, like I'm looking at a long-lost older brother for the first time. And I realized, that's me right there. That thing in the window is exactly what I feel like on the inside. Same lines, same shape, same aesthetic. And what I realized was, I am a typewriter. No, really, a typewriter. All those years I thought I was a human being. I was actually on the inside an Olivetti 250 with automatic correctability. And you know what? I can't even type. The trouble is, it can be lonely being a typewriter in a world of human beings. And here I've already been replaced by word processors and computers. I mean, here I finally figure out what it is that I really am, and I'm an antique already. Plus, there's my love life, which is problematical to say the least. The trouble inherent in a typewriter finding a suitable partner in this town can be prodigious, as you can imagine. But at least now I understand how come I always loved not just sex. Sex is anywhere, but touch. Being touched and touching. Being touched is part of the nature and purpose of typewriters. It's how we express ourselves and the human person along with us. Hands on the keyboard and the right touch, fire away. You've got a pretty nice pair of hands yourself there. It's what I noticed. It's why I stepped over to talk to you. I know that sounds loony, but nice, shapely fingers, good manicure, no hangnails. It's the first thing I notice. And you know, I've never told this to anyone before, but you look like I could trust you. What? Pardon? I don't understand. You're not really a girl? Well, sure you're a girl. You're a beautiful girl, so... You're what? You're actually a sheet of paper. 10-pound bond? Ivory tinted. Pure cotton fiber. I'm glad to meet you.